What's up, guys? We're stepping it up for the new year. I can't wait for UFC 311, which is what we're breaking down today. This card's going to be super easy to bet on. It's all a lot of setups, really easy fights, good value, and I'm hoping this sets us up for the whole year to make over, I'd say 20K. That's my goal, make over 20K for the year. We made almost $10,000 last year from sports betting, all sports betting, and I went to the casino one time, won $1,000. That's the only time I ever went to the casino and played, so I got lucky. Actually won like $1,300, but I gave like $300 to one of my friends. So, anyways, yeah, we made over 10K. I'm hoping we make 20K just from UFC alone, NFL, all that stuff. We do NFL, NBA. We'll get into all that. Anyways, we have Islam Makhachev and taking on Arman Tsarukyan for the second time in a rematch. And we have Merab Dvalishvili taking on Umar Nurmagomedov. And I cannot wait for those two fights. You guys might not think they're going to be exciting. I think they're going to be super exciting. Arman is a tough challenger. Him being that big of a dog is kind of like, someone that good should never be that big of a dog. Same thing with Merab. Merab is slept on by a lot of people. You guys don't realize how good he is. But who knows? I might not even pick him, so Umar might just be that good. We'll see. We'll get into it. We have a bunch of new graphics, a whole new set of presentation. We have new lights. We're coming into this year strong, and we're going to kick it off with, obviously, we kicked it off with the Dern versus Rebos, right? And we had good graphics. But for this one, I'm telling you, the graphics are going to come different, and they're going to hit different. This is UFC 311. The full card breakdown and predictions. Here we go. So this is my Patreon. You guys don't know, I have a Patreon. All the payment plans are right there. For MMA, $199, NFL, $199, NBA is $3.99 a month, just because NBA, it's like daily, and it takes a lot out of my time and my day. All my bets are $7 a month, but obviously, if you guys have been tracking it, for NFL, we're up 325.1 units. NBA, 71.4 units. MMA, 51.5 units. So if you take that into consideration, like I said, we're up $10,000 on the year. $7 a month. That's paying for the next 20 years of this Patreon. The value is incredible. I just have this picture. I'm going to change the background of my Patreon. I don't really like it. I had this for my Twitter a long time ago. I don't really like it no more. I need to change it. It needs an upgrade. But yeah, you guys could see just the results on the Patreon. I don't think there's better value in the betting space to begin with. Something as cheap as this, something as efficient as this, and just the amount of work I put into the Patreon and effort just for you guys. I don't think there's many people that do that for you guys. And I have a lot going on in my personal life with my job, real estate on the side as well. So it's there's a lot going on, and I'm still over here putting in work for you guys just to make sure you guys can eat like I do. It's not just for my friends, it's for whoever wants to join. So that's the Patreon. Then we also have spreadsheets. No one else is doing this in the game. We have spreadsheets tracked of every single event from the beginning of the year, January to December 2024. It's all tracked, so you guys know I'm not lying about my statistics or whatever, right? And it's all in the Patreon as well, so it'll all add up for you guys. We did really good at the beginning of the year. We started off super strong with only 2 losses. We had I don't even know how many we got right in a row. It was ridiculous. But anyways, yeah, everything's tracked. You guys can see we struggled a little bit here, and we learned a lot. I never lose on PFL. For some reason, at the end of the year, I started second. I don't know what I was doing. I was being a dipshit. UFC Paris, we shouldn't have lost either. I bet Joannis and Brito instead of going with my gut. I listened to freaking other YouTubers. I learned not to do that shit. Yeah, UFC Macau, we lost because of freaking, what was her name? That Chinese girl that got knocked out. She was winning 2-0. She was winning the 3rd round as well. Got caught with a head kick. PFL championships, again, we bet a freaking prelim guy that's not very well known. You just don't do that in PFL. You stick to the main card, and that's the reason. Once we stuck to the main card, we didn't lose. So we know, PFL is it's crazy because I haven't lost PFL or Bellator my whole life, except one event. Until this year, I lost 2, so I'm like, maybe I jinxed it. I don't know. I gotta get humbled, but obviously this is a full like spreadsheet or whatever. It's all right here. I'm circling it with my mouse. 24% ROI. Not a lot of people are doing that for the year. A 24% ROI, that's really good. For me personally, I'm disappointed in that number because I know we could get to 40%. I know we could get to probably 50%. 40% is crazy. But if we get to 50%, I mean, that's just, we're the best. That's the best year to like any sports bettors ever had, who does every event and all that stuff and super consistent. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's all that. So you guys know I'm not lying about my numbers. I'm not bullshitting. It's all tracked. You go back to my freaking Patreon, track everything if you want, with all the numbers, whatever. I don't lie about this stuff. I'm here to make you guys money. I'm here to make myself money. I want to retire from this. This would be wonderful. This is another spreadsheet we tracked. It's just like tells how we did on the pay-per-views, how we did on the PFL, Bellator for the whole year. So obviously I know where I messed up, I guess. Like where I was messing up and stuff like that. So anyways, what I learned, obviously I'll go through it real quick. And obviously we have timestamps. Feel free to skip to the video. The pay-per-views we got to load up on. PFL, load up. Bellator, load up. That's what we got to do. Contender Series, other organizations. Boxing, we do really good with boxing. BKFC, but it's like, BKFC we didn't have a lot of, like, events, I guess. I'm blanking on words right now. So yeah, we didn't have a lot of events on those. I don't know if I want to load up. I'll probably stay small, bet here and there. That's what I do with those bottom 4. For UFC, Apex, city events, country events, like, I know now where to bet for countries, like Saudi Arabia, stuff like that. We should not bet the same as pay-per-views, but like half of the pay-per-views for Apex events and UFC city events. We're going to bet a little bit smaller, probably like 25% of what we bet on pay-per-views, but I need to bet a consistent amount every single time because there's no reason we go 7-3 on Apex events or 4-1 on city events and don't profit. That's bad on my part. I just need to stay consistent with the numbers I'm putting for every event. Pay-per-views, we're definitely getting into the 4-figure marks every time we bet now. I can't be going with the like $300, $400 on the pay-per-view. That's just uncalled for. For our double ups, we need to have at least 1,000 down. We need to have like $200 to $400 down on like a plus 200, plus 300 parlay, like 4 or 5 leg. That's just what we got to do. We need to make $600 to $1,000 plus every pay-per-view. We need to capitalize on our knowledge and the setup fights that the UFC presents us. So we just got to put our money where our mouth is. Pay-per-views have been easy. I'm hoping we don't get screwed on this pay-per-view now that I'm saying something and I'm betting bigger. But in the long run, it'll all pay off. And I know with pay-per-views, I'm usually pretty consistent, so should be fine there. And for the first fight, we're finally going to get started for you guys. These are our new graphics. I love the background, all this stuff. I really love these graphics. We darkened stuff a little bit. So anyways, we got Tagir, Ulanbekov. We taking on Clayton, Carpenter. If you guys don't know, both guys are grapplers, right? Tagir, he's Khabib's guy. He's negative 270, 15-2, 4-1 in the UFC. Really good grappler. His striking, I mean, never really seen much of it. I think you could see from the striking statistics, it's not the greatest. He's not Islam or nothing. He's not Umar. But he has really good grappling, and that's could be a big deal here. The only real weakness I have seen from Tagir would be his takedown defense, which is exposed by in the Tim Elliott fight. Clayton Carpenter is a grappler who's going to try to push the pace and get the takedown right away to find the submission, as both of his UFC wins are by submission. I like Tagir here in this one, though, as I think he's just a little bit better everywhere this fight goes, and I think the experience is going to be big here. But who knows? I could be totally wrong. Clayton Carpenter could be the real deal. I probably won't bet this fight, but I do like Tagir. Negative 270 could be, I think that's a little high. I would have him at like negative 180, negative 190, but Tagir should win this one. I'm going to stay away because I don't know how good Clayton Carpenter is. But yeah, the next fight on the card, we have Grant Dawson taking on Diego Ferreira. Grant Dawson's 22-2. He's negative 355 favorite in this one. He's 10-1 in the UFC, so you can see he's a dominant beast. Diego Ferreira's 19-5, 10-5 in the UFC, and he's plus 280 in this one. So Grant Dawson, pretty simple. He's just a pure wrestler, like a wet blanket. He's going to shoot. That's all he's going to do. And his control is beautiful. His takedowns are relentless. That's just what he does. No one could stop it except for Bobby Green. And quite frankly, that was a fluky loss. Grant Dawson should be 11-0 in the UFC right now. His chin could be a question because he got knocked out with a jab. I don't think that'll be an issue in this one because I just think he's the better fighter. But you have Diego Ferreira. He has some solid grappling as well, some pretty good and dangerous striking. He does, however, struggle defensively everywhere like a typical jiu-jitsu guy. Bad takedown defense, bad striking defense, and that is going to be the problem here. Grant Dawson should be able to get the takedowns all 3 rounds here. I don't see a finish. I see him picking this up by decision, and that's probably the reason this fight's super early on the card. Grant Dawson with high confidence. You can put your money on him. I understand if you guys have concerns with the chin because of the Bobby Green fight, but he should be fine. Good wrestling, good cardio. Should stay away from danger in this one. And Diego Ferreira is 39 years old, so should be good there. For the next fight, we have Ricky Turcios taking on Bernardo Sopaj. Ricky Turcios, 13-4, plus 240 dog versus Bernardo Sopaj, who is 0-1 in the UFC. He's 11-3 overall, negative 298 favorite. That's a little dicey if you ask me. So this fight was previously supposed to happen, but I believe Ricky ended up pulling out due to medical reasons. Ricky Turcios is a high volume and high pace striker. Not much else. He's not a finisher. He cannot defend takedowns, although his scrambles are solid. He's just going to come forward and throw whatever. And you can see that with the striking accuracy. He'll literally be 5 feet away from you just throwing jabs. Throw. Hoo. Like, make those weird noises. He's just an odd guy, to be honest. Bernardo Sopaj, he's coming off that brutal knockout loss to Vinicius Oliveira. He's definitely a finisher. As you can see, he has 10 finishes in his 11 wins. He's an explosive fighter who likes to move forward and stay busy to work in the grappling part of his game, as seen in his last fight. He has serious cardio issues, though, and that could be a problem here if he can't get the finish. I'm taking Sopaj here, but I can't be betting anyone who gasses that bad at negative 300. It was bad. He was dominating Vinicius Oliveira in his last fight, and it shows you the talent this kid has, and I believe he's going to be able to do the same thing here. I think he's going to dominate Ricky Turcios, but I just can't put my money on a negative 300 that is known to gas after 7 minutes like he did. It was brutal, man. It was terrible, and I get maybe it was just some people just have an adrenaline dump for their debut, and I'm hoping that's what it was, but you don't know because he's finished everyone. So he comes into that fight, and you're like, he could have cardio issues. Comes into that fight, dominates, has cardio issues, falls off, gets absolutely slept with the flying knee by Vinicius Oliveira. Absolutely disgusting, and I don't even know if he'll be the same after that, but I'm almost certain Sopaj wins. It's just, I don't want to take the chance with my money on that, something like that. So for the next fight, we have UFC's next up-and-coming superstar, a.k.a. Sean O'Malley Jr. We got Payton Talbott, 9-0, negative 1,100 favorite, against a solid UFC vet in Raoni Barcelos, who's 18-5, plus 700 dog. I think that's a little crazy, but Payton Talbott should win. I'll get into the breakdown here. There's not much to break down, but Talbott should be the clear favorite here, like he is. Payton Talbott is UFC's next big superstar, and they're moving him up slowly, which is what they did with O'Malley. This dude is a nasty striker and is really like another O'Malley. That's really how he fights. Raoni Barcelos is a well-rounded fighter who can wrestle and strike, but he is on the older side, going 2-4 in the last 6 fights. Payton Talbott won't lose this fight, as it is a setup fight, and should be a fight where we see the takedown defense of Payton Talbott really on full display here. I won't be betting Talbott as his line is insane, but I'm hoping we could get something with his strikes. Him to land more significant strikes or something like that. We'll see once the time comes. We could even do Payton Talbott in round 2 starts. I don't think he starches this dude in round 1. I think it would be Could be a decision. I just don't think he finishes in round 1, so we may do Payton Talbott to win, and round 2 starts. Insane value on those. We've been cashing on those like crazy. So just pay attention to the Patreon. I cannot talk right now. I'm talking too fast. But I'm trying to get through this for you guys because I know I rambled at the beginning. But yeah, Payton Talbott's the pick here, obviously. So we have Reese taking on Sedriques, Dumas. And I really love this fight here. I think there's a lot of value here. Reese is 8-1 and negative 250. And Dumas is 10-2. And he's plus 205. So we have Reese, who is a very talented prospect. He's a pretty decent striker when on the feet, and he's a very talented grappler as well. Reese is coming off that dominant win over Jose Medina, who is tough as hell. I don't understand how he did not get knocked out in that fight. But before the fight, I did call that it would go decision because I said there's no knocking out Jose Medina. There's certain guys like that, and it showed. Sedriques Dumas is a street fighter turned MMA fighter who is not elite anywhere. This fight is pretty straightforward and simple. Reese is by far, in a way, the way better and way more talented fighter. He's better everywhere, in my opinion. I think could be better on the feet. I think where he has a real advantage is on the ground. That's where he's going to take it. He's going to shoot. He shoots over 4 takedowns a fight. Over 4 takedowns per 15 minutes. Sedriques Dumas, 40% takedown defense. It should be pretty straightforward and simple. I hope Reese has IQ, and I'm almost certain he does. I'm betting Reese here with high confidence, as I don't think Dumas is very good, and I think there's a very clear path to victory for Reese here. I almost want to say the submission's live. I will say that. The submission's live for Reese here in this one. The next fight, we have Karol Rosa taking on Ailin Perez. Most of you dudes fucking simp over Ailin Perez, but we got Karol Rosa as the negative 162 favorite, and we have Ailin Perez at plus 136. Everyone's favorite twerker, everyone's favorite piece of ass, Ailin Perez. She's going to be probably the most bet dog on this card, I would say, outside of the co-main and main event. Ailin Perez is known for her fat ass, as all she does is shake it on her OnlyFans to market herself. You'll probably like hearing even more that she loves to wrestle, so you'll be able to see that ass bounce up and down for 15 minutes. She is a wrestler who really doesn't have much else, but she is pretty good at that one thing. Karol Rosa is solid and a volume-heavy striker. Her takedown defense is decent, but she will be able to get taken down by wrestlers with good takedowns. This is a step up for Ailin Perez, but I believe she will be able to get the takedowns and pass the test. Give me Ailin Perez with dog money here. I will also be looking to take Karol Rosa to land more strikes, and I fell for the trap too. This is what I'm going to look at, though, because a lot of times when you have this girl like Ailin Perez, you have like, oh, she has that clear path to victory. She has it right there. A lot of times the other girl wins. I noticed that a lot last year. A lot of people are on Ailin Perez here. She has that clear path with the wrestling. But I know she's not the best wrestler. She doesn't have the best control. Part of me is telling me to take Karol Rosa just because I've seen this before. Lupi Godinez and Mackenzie Dern. Lupi has the clear path to victory. She has the stand-up. She has the ground game. Mackenzie Dern was better in the stand-up. Lupi refused to shoot. And Mackenzie Dern, I want to say, actually got her down. So it's one of those. It's just like, man, I feel like Rosa might have this. It's a tough fight. Perez could pass the test, and maybe I'm just overthinking, but I won't be touching this fight. It's not a fight I'm going to be betting. Johnny Walker taking on Bogdan Guskov. Johnny Walker plus 114. Bogdan Guskov negative 135. That's some serious value sitting there. You'll see what side we're on in a minute. Johnny Walker's a super tall and long guy for this weight class who has some talent with some powerful hands and some solid jiu-jitsu, but he just has no striking defense and absolutely no chin whatsoever. Bogdan Guskov is a powerful puncher and will keep coming forward until he can find that big shot. I like Bogdan to get the knockout win here due to the fact he has taken the step up in competition already and delivered with a knockout win over Ryan Spann. I need to start slowing down when I'm reading because I can't talk for shit right now. I keep messing up all my sentences. So obviously, we break this fight down. Johnny Walker's going to have a big height and reach advantage like he always does. But something's telling me Guskov's going to be able to eat Johnny Walker's best shots. I don't think he'll be able to get Guskov down, and I think Guskov's going to land that big shot. I think there's some value here. I don't know if I will bet him or not. We'll see. But I'm pretty confident Guskov wins, and with odds like this, I'm almost certain I'm going to be betting him. A little more film study from me, and we'll see what happens. Just stay tuned to the Patreon. All the bets are up to date. I've already got future bets in there, so stay up to date. For the next fight, we have Jailton Almeida taking on Serghei Spivac. Jailton Almeida, he's only lost one fight in UFC, and he's a -320 favorite, as he should be, taking on Serghei Spivac, who is 8-4 in the UFC, and he's plus 260. Although I will say Spivac has lost all good competition. So you got both guys, right? They're grapplers. Jailton Almeida, the way better grappler. Both guys' striking isn't very good. Jailton Almeida, I could just break this down right now. Serghei Spivac, grappler, has some decent submissions. Jailton Almeida, really good submissions, grappler. And he's taken down Curtis Blades. He's taken down everybody. He took down Curtis Blades relentlessly, and he just froze on a single leg and got caught. It was very fluky. Jailton Almeida should win this fight. I'm betting him with high confidence in this one. I think he's going to take Spivac down. I don't think he's going to finish him. I will be betting Jailton Almeida to win in round 2 to start, but I also have him with some parlays, as you can see in my Patreon. Check it out for $1.99. Get in early before the lines move. Grant Dawson's going to go up. Almeida's going to fucking skyrocket. Reese is already skyrocketing. Guskov's skyrocketing. So get in early, please. I'm trying to tell you guys, my Patreon has a lot of value for you guys. And it's not just with the money I make you, it's the value we get on beating the lines of these sports books. The next fight's Rinya Nakamura taking on Muin Gafurov. So it's another good fight and another up-and-coming prospect. -395 for Nakamura. He's actually down to -360 now. He was very high there. He's 3-0 in the UFC. Gafurov, plus 310. He's down to like plus 270, I think. 290. And he's 1-2 in the UFC. Just picking up his first win. And his last one. So we got Rinya Nakamura as a big-time Japanese wrestler who has shown that in the UFC so far. He is going to shoot takedowns very early and set him up with some powerful shots on the feet. And he's going to control his opponents for most of the round. Muin Gafurov is also a wrestler who seems like to stand and bang at times. Muin has been able to get taken down and controlled for almost 5 minutes by Kyung Ho Kang, who's not nearly the wrestler Nakamura is. So obviously, I think 2 + 2 = 4. Rinya Nakamura has the elite wrestling, elite control, elite takedowns, and that's going to be a problem here. Gafurov shouldn't be able to defend the takedowns. He should be able to get up better than Nakamura's previous opponents, but he's going to get controlled. If Kang can control him, Nakamura's going to control him. I think he'll be able to get up a couple times, but he's going to get taken right back down. Should be a 30-27 win for Nakamura. Short, sweet, and simple. Rinya Nakamura, just probably my favorite play on the card, to be honest. Now we got Beneil Dariush taking on Renato Money Moicano. One of UFC's hottest guys right now, just hilarious. Dude's hilarious. Go watch his podcast. He's also a good bettor. If you guys don't know, watch his gambling podcast. He has some pretty good picks, very good knowledge about MMA, so I would definitely pay attention to that. But you got Money Moicano, 12-5 in the UFC. He's on his little win streak. -200, taking on Beneil Dariush, who's plus 170. And he's on a bit of a losing streak. 2-fight losing streak. Obviously, it was the Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan. 2 of the division's best contenders, I would say. Obviously, Islam's better than both of them, but Islam's a champion, so he's not a contender no more. Beneil Dariush, heavy-handed wrestler. Really good wrestling, really good control. And when he's on the feet, he doesn't have the best striking, but he has a lot of power. Renato Moicano, he is a grappler. He doesn't have much in the striking department. He doesn't really have much besides his grappling. He's going to try to get the fight down with his grappling. I don't think that happens against someone like Beneil Dariush. His takedown defense is really good. And it's just, I'm struggling to see how Moicano wins. I mean, if Dariush shoots sloppy or something, I don't know. I like Beneil Dariush as a dog in this one, but obviously I'm going to do some more film study and just see what's going on. But I don't know. I like Daniil Dariush here. Daniil Dariush with dog money. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to really say about this fight. I need to do more film on it. Obviously, we have 3 more weeks till this fight. So, yeah, we'll see what I do. Like I said, pay attention to the Patreon. I have confidence levels, all that stuff in there. So, just pay attention to that. Now we have Kevin Holland taking on UFC's new man in town, Rainier de Ritter. Rainier de Ritter. 2 big middleweights. I mean, at least in like reach and height and stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, this is a tricky fight, I would say. Kevin Holland's negative 142 right now. He's a UFC journeyman, as you can tell, 13-9 in UFC. De Ritter, or we'll call him Rainier. I don't know if I'm saying it right. We'll see. He's plus 122. He's 1-0 in the UFC, but he almost lost to Gerald Mearshart. That was not an impressive fight whatsoever. Kevin Holland, good striker, decent jiu-jitsu, not like elite jiu-jitsu because he can't do that against good guys, but he has some solid jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt, obviously. Kung Fu, black belt too as well, I want to say. So his striking's good. He has real power. He has some good cardio. No takedown defense, though, and that could be the issue here. Has 0 takedown defense, 0 wrestling defense when the fight gets to the ground. And we got Rainier de Ritter, where he's a grappler. He doesn't have much striking at all. His wrestling's not the best, but he'll shoot till he can get the takedowns. And honestly, he's an elite grappler with elite jiu-jitsu. If this fight hits the ground, he's going to have the better jiu-jitsu in this one. But he doesn't have cardio. He doesn't have striking. And if he can't get the fight down, to the ground, he's going to quit. We've seen it before. So if Holland could just defend some of these weak takedowns, he's going to look like a negative 2,000. But I don't know because Holland's takedown defense is so ass. Obviously, he's faced some good wrestlers, and he couldn't defend their takedowns because obviously they're way better wrestlers than De Ritter is. But we'll see what happens. I don't really have an official pick on this one. I'd probably lean De Ritter, but anything could happen, man. I would just stay away from this one, honestly. Just save your money. Now, for this fight, I definitely want my apologies from all you guys, the Twitter community, everybody. Told you guys Yuri was overrated. Told you Jamal was overrated. I told all you guys, Yuri is not an elite striker. Jamal Hill is not an elite striker. They're just not. They have these MMA backgrounds. They're not elite anywhere, and that's a problem. I tried telling you guys. I got ridiculed, laughed at, made fun of for this shit. Once again, one of my things I say is correct, and that's what I'm telling you guys, like, to follow me with these bets. There's a reason I make a lot of money betting. It's because I pay attention. You pay attention to trends. Who are the best guys, right? They're elite at something. They have to be elite at something, be the best. Yuri was never elite at anything. Jamal Hill was never elite at anything. They had good matchups. They didn't fight the best people. And I mean, quite frankly, they're not better than Alex Pereira, obviously. He slept them both. They wouldn't be better than Magomed Ankalaev. I think Ankalaev could stand and beat both these guys. So it's like, I don't understand what people see, and people like this, they just get caught up in the hype. They don't. Same thing with football, like draft prospects. I'm really good at draft prospects, right? Said Jaden Daniels, best prospect I've seen. Him and Joe Burrow are the best prospects I've seen since Andrew Luck. Both of those, look how those panned out. I got laughed at, ridiculed. Caleb Williams, Joe Burrow's one hit wonder. Whatever. Justin Jefferson, I seen it with him. I said he was going to be the wide receiver 1. Said CeeDee Lamb was going to be wide receiver 2. Jamar Chase 3. Right? Chase was pretty obvious, but I mean, Jefferson, no one thought that. CeeDee Lamb was hit or miss. People hit or miss on that. So I pay attention to everything very precisely. I know trends and how shit works. You know, it's like sports have been around for a million years. So, not a million years, but a long time. So I go back and I stay up with the trends. What works? What translates? There's stuff to everything. It's very simple. It's just a lot of people don't pay attention to all that stuff. Anyways, we have Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill. Hill is 6-2. 6-2 in the UFC. Yuri's 4-2 in the UFC. It's a pick'em fight. Both former champions. Both overrated. Both strikers, man. So Yuri's obviously got all these spiritual shit he has going on. Trains out in the fucking woods and all this shit. He's crazy. Obviously, both strikers, like I said, he's really tough. He gets hit a lot, though. That's his problem. He gets hit a lot, but he's tough. He walks forward. He can break people like he did with Alexander Rakic, who's obviously beating the shit out of him before he gassed out. And then he's taking on Jamal Hill, so delusional as shit, but I'm not going to give him any attention he wants. We're going to keep it very short, sweet, and simple. Decent striker. Throws a lot of volume. I don't think he has the best takedown defense. That doesn't matter. I don't think he's a better striker in this one. I mean, he could be. I don't know. It's a pick'em, obviously. I'm probably not going to touch this fight. I think both guys are overrated. You guys do what you want with this one. Not a fight I'm going to touch. Now, for the co-main event, we have Merab Dvalishvili taking on Umar Nurmagomedov. Is it a passing of the guard here? I think so. I think Umar is just so elite. He's so good everywhere. We're going to break the fight down right now. We have Merab as the plus 265 dog. Should not be that big of a dog. But regardless, we don't think he's winning. We're pretty confident in Umar, so we're going to bet Umar. That's just... Don't bet the fucking dog who you think's going to lose because his odds shouldn't be that wide. It's stupid, right? It's stupid. He's 11-2 in the UFC. Obviously, 11-fight win streak. He's an elite wrestler, elite cardio, elite pressure. It's ridiculous. He will come forward and shoot 50-plus takedowns, and that's not an exaggeration. You go look at the stats. Check that fight versus Peter Yan. He shot 56 takedowns, I think it was. Record, obviously. So he's going to keep coming forward and shooting. His striking is not the best. I mean, obviously his numbers are there because he throws a lot. He misses a lot, too, as you see, 42% striking accuracy. I mean, he gets hit a lot, and that's the concern here. When he gets touched and hit, though, he doesn't have guys that'll take him down and, like, hurt him, go to the ground with him, and use their jiu-jitsu. Remember when Islam beats Charles? What did I say? I said Islam's better striker. Got laughed at. Islam's better wrestler, obviously. And I said Islam has just as good jiu-jitsu, and he's going to submit Charles Oliveira. Got laughed at. You can't submit someone as good as Charles Oliveira. He gets hurt every fucking fight, and everyone's scared to go to the ground with him. Islam's not scared to go to the ground with him. When he's hurt, he can't defend himself from the jiu-jitsu of someone like Islam Makhachev. That's what happened. Umar Nurmagomedov, elite wrestler, really good striker. He has really good submissions. And you know what's going to happen here? He's the better striker. Don't be surprised. It's probably going to decision. I probably have Umar decision, right? He's going to land the way bigger shots, going to be way cleaner on the feet. He's not going to get taken down. He has really good takedown defense because his wrestling's just as good. If this fight gets in the clinch, Umar's going to be able to take him down with tramps. And it's going to be a problem seeing Merab on his back. Especially with someone like Umar. He trains with bigger dudes. He trains with Khabib, Islam, Usman, Nurmagomedov every single day. He's trained with guys like Bilal Muhammad, not every day, but occasionally. So he's trained with the elite of the elites. And it's like that camp is like dialed in right now, so you know he's going to be good. He has elite cardio too. He mauled Corey Sandhagen. He made it look easy, and that's not easy to do at all. So I just think Umar's going to be cleaner everywhere this fight goes. Obviously, the pace and pressure of Merab could be an issue. Umar's obviously big. It's not really a big step up, but it's his first big fight, I guess. Corey was pretty big, but this one's title fight. So I think Umar probably wins by decision, but don't be surprised if Umar clips Merab on the feet and goes to the ground with him, and Merab's hurt and can't defend the jiu-jitsu of Umar Nurmagomedov. That would be crazy. It could happen. I don't know if it will. Umar's my pick, though. I'm betting him with pretty decent confidence in this one. I think it's a change in the guard, man. The Nurmagomedov's, fucking Khabib's camp, they've all just taken over, and I think there's no difference here. Obviously, I think Merab will be the toughest test of any Nurmagomedov or anybody in Khabib's camp, like Usman or Khabib, Islam. I don't think any of them have faced anybody as good as Merab Dvalishvili. And I think the front runner, or the second, whatever, the guy in second place for the second toughest challenge to face one of those guys is in the main event in Arman Tsarukyan taking on Islam Makhachev. Islam, 26-1, obviously, 15-1 in the UFC. He's a negative 380 favorite. Taking on Arman Tsarukyan, 9-2 in the UFC, plus 290 favorite. I think Islam should be more like negative 250, but I'm pretty confident he should win. So I'm not going to sit here and bet the dog, but Arman Tsarukyan is going to be tough. He has the wrestling to match Islam. He has some power in his hands, decent striking. He's beat some tough guys. Beat Charles Oliveira. He's beat a lot of good guys. But that being said, Islam is going to be bigger here. He's going to be longer. What is that? I don't know why that email has popped up right there. It's obviously glitching, so I don't know. That's for my real estate. Anyways, I will say Islam should be better everywhere. Better striker, better wrestler, better in the clinch. Cardio, I think, is about similar. Both guys gas in round 4 and 5. And I think the only way Arman Tsarukyan wins this fight is if he could keep that pace going in rounds 4 and 5 when Islam slows down. It's his only hope. But I don't think he's going to win. I just think Islam's better everywhere. Obviously, Islam does struggle with shorter guys at getting takedowns and keeping it there and all that. It's a known fact when you're wrestling. Taking down a shorter guy is a lot harder to do than a shorter guy taking down a taller guy. So Arman's going to have the advantage there. That's why he was able to take down Islam before. But I just think Islam's better everywhere. I don't see him losing. Islam's too good, man. I just don't see him losing for the next year and a half. Once he's 35, I hope he retires because I don't want to see him keep fighting when he's that old. But I don't see a way Arman wins unless Islam just completely gasses in round 4 and 5 and Arman's cardio is way improved than it used to be. But yeah, I'm going to go Islam here. I'm pretty confident he wins this. Islam and Umar to win in round 2 to start in both of those fights. Those are going to give you some pretty good odds. Stay tuned to the Patreon. We have the value for you guys. But yeah, my pick's Islam here. Let me know what you guys have in the comment section down below. I want to know who you guys have for the whole main card, mainly the co-main and main event, because I know that's going to be very controversial. A lot of people are going to have Merab. A lot of people are going to have Umar. A lot of people are going to have Arman. A lot of people are going to have Islam. But yeah, just let me know. That's my breakdown for this card. You guys can obviously log out, but we do have an outro, obviously, every video. So we'll get into that right now. I just want to go back over the Patreon. Obviously, $199 a month for MMA, $199 a month for NFL, $399 a month for NBA, only because NBA is daily and it takes a lot of work. $6.99 a month for all the bets, which is crazy value. If you think we're up about $10,000 betting sports this year, that's enough to pay for the next decade of the Patreon. So value is crazy. You can see right here, NFL, we're up 325 units this year, which is ridiculous. Shout out Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. NBA, we're up 71 units already. We haven't bet the past 2 weeks because we've been taking a break. A lot of my real estate stuff is getting started, so that's why we've taken a break there. MMA, we're up 51.5 units on the year. It's been an incredible ride. 2024, we hit the ground running in our rookie year, and now we have all the freaking sample sizes, the data, all that tracked, so we know what to do going into 2025 to make sure we try to hit that $20,000+ mark on the year just from MMA. Yeah, I hope you guys can follow the ride with me because I have a feeling it's going to be a big year. We know unit sizes to bet on each pay-per-view, each city event, each Apex event, each Bellator event, PFL, boxing. We have everything down to a science, and I think it's going to pay off big this year. I think we're going to be the #1 capper in the world, and I don't think it's going to be close. Obviously, I'm going to stay humble, and anybody could lose, right? We could have a bad year, but I'm fairly confident in my strategies, my long-term betting strategy, that it will pay off and it will work. This is the Patreon. As you guys can see, you can just type in Austin Reiswick Patreon, and you guys can go subscribe, show me some support and love, and obviously, we give back to you guys. We have giveaways twice a year. If we're making a lot more, we're going to have giveaways 4 to 6 times a year for you guys. It's going to be good amounts. This is the data and tracking I'm talking about. We know exactly what to do for the pay-per-views, PFL, Bellator. We know where to bet heavy on, where to bet lower on. For Apex and City events, obviously, we were betting heavy on some events, lower on some events, and we didn't profit on 7-3 and 4-1, which is crazy. Like, that's embarrassing. So we need to keep the unit size just, I don't know, 300, 300, 300, 300, 300 for those. Pay-per-views, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. PFL, same thing, 2K. Bellator, 2K. Country events in Saudi Arabia, 1,000. But other events like Canada or something like that, you know, let's go smaller. China, for instance, we'll go like 100 for China because China's hit or miss. But yeah, we have exact science breaking down every different event and our confidence levels and everything. So we're gonna be a lot more efficient going into the next year. And as you can see, we're 44-9 in events this year. We only didn't profit. We lost money. There we go. We lost money on only 9 events this year, and there's 53 of them. So we did pretty damn good. We're going to try to get that number down to 5 or less because we should not have lost like 4 or 5 of them. It was just stupidity, me listening to other people. So I'm listening to myself this year, and I'm pretty confident it's going to pay off. At least I hope so. I don't want to get cocky. I'm never going to get cocky. I respect everybody in the industry, and I respect the sports gods, the betting gods. They can fuck you over at any time. So let's stay humble, and let's make this money this year.